Okay, I guess this will be a bit of a complicated update just because there's also Christmas stuff to show, I guess, since some people are interested in that. So, we got 2 DVDs that arrived earlier. Let's open the right stuff package and take out a Mazinger Z Volume 2. And, I believe that's all the anime, which just leaves, non-anime stuff, such as, that, which we'll talk about, and then I got another little package here, which is apparently going to require scissors of some sort. And looking at all this stuff is going to be kind of too many, because this should be my calendar. The one I'm going to hang up on the wall January 1st. Maybe that would be the best time to try and record my apartment tour, especially since things are a little bit of a mess, and my big Minecraft project to flatten and raise a bunch of land is no longer pressing. So, as predicted, I don't know if I said this to y'all, but this is the calendar, and it was predicted to arrive February, according to tracking. And as you can see, it's here now. As suspected, that was just a fairly conservative estimate. I just need to get some of this started. Why don't we just cover the anime DVDs real fast, since there's only the 3 of them. First we got Little Norse Prince Horus, Prince of the Sun, which I don't know much about, but it does say directed by Isao Takahata of Studio Ghibli, with animation by Hayao Miyazaki, which is curious. It doesn't look like character designs are Miyazaki, though. And this plastic is getting on my nerves. And now it's falling apart before it all comes off. We're really getting on my nerves. Okay. There we go. Oh. Annoying. There we go. So, we got a very simple individual disc, which makes it nice and cheap. I was checking because the print quality almost reminded me of the burn-on-demand stuff, and so I was a little curious. Now, obviously, I showed Dog and Scissors earlier, but this has the new English dub, and for some reason my battery's already almost dead, even though this thing hasn't been on for very long. I don't know. I'll just keep going. The Blu-ray version didn't ship, though, because this arrived early because I ordered from Right Stuff, and Right Stuff actually understands the difference between the 2 releases, where Amazon didn't seem to be aware that there was another version, or didn't seem to know that that other version was going to be very different or something. I don't know. It just had DVD and Blu-ray version, but there's, of course, a new DVD version of Dog and Scissors with the dub, and then we've got Mazinger Z TV Series Volume 2 with episodes 47 to 92. Very straightforward discs, falling out of the thing. I guess I did hear loose plastic, so it makes sense that it would be loose on the inside. Alright, let's see, I guess it makes sense to include this. So if we start talking about other stuff, this is the Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie, which I'm quite curious about. I don't think it was streaming on his side, and I think there was some sites it was streaming on, but for the most part, this seems like the best way to get it. You know, showing support for a project that's at least been interesting to hear about. Okay, we've got some little... I'm not exactly sure what these are, because they kind of feel like sticker quality print, but I'm not feeling where they could be separated. And there's supposed to be a lot of features on here, so I'm really looking forward to firing that up. And I got myself a copy of The Last Unicorn, technically because I got my friend a copy of it. It's a childhood movie of his, and since it was so cheap, I got a copy for myself. I guess Christmas presents. I also received Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Last Airbender, and this is just really to complete the Avatar The Last Airbender stuff, even though this is not necessarily highly desired. The person gave it to me knowing this, and then I got the complete series of the 4400, which I think I only ever saw the first couple episodes of, so that's a very nice addition. Let's see. Christmas presents. I got some Belgian chocolate and cracker stuff. I got a Minecraft with the horse, which is highly appropriate because we finally started playing with horses. I got chicken, potato cookbooks, and then I got a Lego minifigure by year visual history. It's a book. You can see this half is a book, and then there's the Lego figures. So that's about summarizes all my Christmas presents. I guess there's just still getting this thing open. As long as I'm not cutting the calendar itself, that should be fine. Because I'm not planning to send it back. And I've got a couple days to work on straightening this out, but I guess I'll pull the camera up so that you can see. This is Girls in Panzer, which I thought would give a I guess I just really can't show it, especially with it rolling back on itself like that. So I guess we'll say this week's anime DVDs, and now I will point this over in my general talking direction to talk about the 3 things I watched, I guess. It feels like I watched more than that, but I remember talking about Silver Spoon last time, and about how the timing was really fun since we were playing with horses in Minecraft. And I kind of talked about how I liked it. So I'm pretty sure I watched it and talked about it, which leaves the next 2 things, which are really just the second half of Railgun. I guess that's about right. Yeah, I just can't think of what else it would have been if it was anything else. And I tried to take a look for stuff. So, yeah, I watched the second half of Railgun, and I actually thought this was... Sorry, not Railgun. The second half of A Certain Magical Index 2. And it was fun. I mean, it wasn't particularly bad in the first half, or the first season, but I think this second half is where some very interesting things happen. Character interactions that hadn't happened before, and kind of needed to happen, and some of it even took some normal harem anime tropes and turned a couple of them on its head. It was actually really fun to watch. But I guess I can't talk too much more detail about that. There is the ending, which didn't feel like much of an ending. Far less of an ending than anything else from the Index and Railgun stuff. And I'm guessing that's somehow related to the movie. I think there's a movie. I think it's coming out, but it might be coming out of order here in the States compared to other stuff. I don't know. I should research that. Then I watched Oni Monogatari, which is the next 4 episodes in the Monogatari second season. And it was very good. But, you know, I kind of realized that some of these stories are starting to get pretty depressing. But that's what makes it good, because it does a really good job of keeping you on your toes. You can't quite get used to it just because they're too smart for that, I guess? I don't know. And see, I can't help but think that I watched something else, but the only other thing I can think of watching was American Horror Story, Season 1, Murder House. Which at the time wasn't called Season 1 or Murder House, it was just called American Horror Story, and it's kind of like The Strain in that there's kind of interesting concepts, but stupid drama. And that's an annoying car alarm. I don't know if y'all can hear it. But anyways, I guess we need to complete this. What can I say about it? I think it began kind of okay, but the problem is that they couldn't really make a horror story of that for such a long season. So, at around the time every single character in the show should have been dead, you know, at that point it was having to say, no, we need reasons to keep them around, and it was kind of silly. I wouldn't call the first season very horror-y. There's concepts in there, but it doesn't really want to go anywhere with us, because I guess the drama's supposed to be more important. Some of it is rather stupid. I mean, the guy cheated, and that was a very scummy thing, but the show kind of treats it like it's the worst thing in the universe to ever happen, ever, and it's ignoring the fact that it's one of those things where it's more like his cheating was just a bad decision to handle something crappy his wife was doing to him. And my understanding of that was, it's just I'm just annoyed because it didn't want to cover that, because every character's like, oh, you cheated? Wow, that's worse than murder. You're a sicko, or something like that. And I don't know. It makes me think the wife is a bit abusive, but I don't know that I have to worry about that if I get the second season and watch it, because I got the impression each season is kind of its own story, and some people said the first season was much worse than the other ones, and I can kind of understand that. Like, with the first season, you can kind of understand what concepts worked and what was just stupid. And it wasn't unwatchable. And it wasn't as overall interesting to watch like The Strain. Oh, you know, maybe that's why I didn't watch as much anime as I thought. Because I just remembered I did watch, I did catch up on The Walking Dead, where my friend started watching my copies of The Walking Dead, and I have, you know, I watch it as it comes out on DVD, so I only have 4 seasons, and the first half of the 5th season, which already aired, is already aired. But for him, he doesn't really have those limitations. So once he caught up on the 4th season, we got to the 5th season, and he wanted to watch that with me, and I was perfectly fine with that, because The Walking Dead is a very compelling series. I mean, he actually, interestingly enough, thought the first season was the weakest and didn't really mind the second season, which I think is kind of funny, considering how much everything just got dicked over with the second season. But at the same time, I guess if you're just watching that in the background all at once, second season is perfectly fine drama, and it actually sets up a lot of stuff that happens seasons 3, 4, and 5 that just make you really like the show. I mean, I think what happened with the show is there's been a lot of characters that you've just been uncomfortable with, or didn't really like, or were disappointed with, and it either killed them off or made them stronger, which was which basically means at this point, I feel like I really like all the characters. I mean, they're not all perfect. They've got their flaws here and there, but it's fun. And this season, the stuff I watched was entertaining, especially to watch with somebody. I mean, I guess I've watched it before, but this time I get to watch it and speculate and stuff. I think I kept saying liars, liars, liars a whole lot in the 5th season, even though I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good interpretation of everything so much as... Well, I don't know. I could probably argue a case for it, but I'm not going to because I'm not trying to spoil the details. It's just an overall feeling that I really like what they did with the 5th season. I really like the way they began it, given where the 4th season left off. And the ending, of course, was a little cliffhangery at the mid-season finale, unless they're going Breaking Bad and going to try and split it into 2 seasons, which I don't think they're going to do unless they do that when they release it on DVD, but I don't think they've done that in the past. Yeah, that was fun. And I was in the middle of talking about American Horror Story when I went that, but I guess I said everything I want to say, so maybe I should just end my anime DVD collection update there, and I guess before I really end it, apartment tour. It's a bit more on my mind now than it was last year. I know last year I did it a little late, so I think, like I said, opening calendar, maybe January 1st when I put the calendar up, or maybe the night of December 31st when I put it up, maybe that's the appropriate time to do the apartment tour. And I might talk, I don't know. I was trying to think if I would talk about things in a little more detail. Somebody wanted some information, so I don't know. I'll figure it out between now and then. So y'all have a nice week and a Happy New Year.